All right. I have one simple question for you. Oh, that was an energy change and a half. I've got one I've got one question for you.
Go for it.
Cartoon crush. Give me,
Cartoon
give
crush.
me, give me three,
Three.
three.
Oi.
I feel like because there's quite a few of it. Well, for me at least, I know that I've got quite a few.
Okay.
Like, who is the
Uh,
baddest of the bad?
bad. That's a hard one still. Okay. Baddest of the bad.
Like,
Hmm.
how about this? You say one, and then I'll say one, and we just go back
Okay.
and forth.
Uh, well, I guess one of the first ones I guess I kind of remember having a crush on maybe
Yeah.
was Frankie Foster from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's a bit of an off the wall one, but yeah, I think I like that.
I rate that. That's respectable. That's respectable.
Go
Like,
for it.
I
Your
see your
turn.
Frankie Foster, and I raise you a Lola Bunny.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, Shigo
Oh, you
from Kim
motherfucker!
Possible. Yeah.
Yeah, she goes bad. Yeah. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. She goes bad. Uh. Mrs. Incredible.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll keep with the Disney then, and I'll go Elsa.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Uh, Yeah. Actually, that makes sense for you.
yeah.
I'm picturing, like when she does the here I am, like the
Lets the
walk.
hair down. Or
Yeah. I'm picturing you going, oh yeah. um. Uh. Why her name is I'm blanking, but Lilo's sister from Lilo and
oh yeah.
Stitch.
Mm,
Bad, bad.
agreed. We got
Mm,
some strong females out there.
yeah. Lana from fucking Archer.
Oh yeah. Mm.
Chell from Road to El Dorado.
You're gonna
You
have to
give me a
remind
blank
me of that.
face. No, Google her.
Hold up, real time stuff here. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I know what you're talking about. Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought for some reason there's Chell is a car from some sort of car movie.
Oh no, you're thinking of Flo from Cars.
Oh, okay.
The two dumb cousins out, they're watching movies.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Reinventing the Real. I'm
Woo.
Curtis.
And I am Cameron.
How are you doing, man? How's your week been?
Yeah, not too bad. Pretty
Yeah,
decent.
just
Uneventful, but
same old,
you know.
isn't it?
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, pretty much same. It hits Tuesday. Little behind the scenes for you guys if you didn't know, we record on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Um, it will hit Tuesday, and then I blink, and the rest of the week just disappears.
Yep.
Uh, I've actually been up. I've been productive today, so that's kind of weird. Yeah, it feels really late in the day to me now because I've been up since like 6.
Ooh.
But we move. We keep it pushing because I'm gassed. Do you know
Oh
why?
yeah. Go on.
Because it's episode 20 of Reinventing the Real.
Oh yeah, we're in our 20s now.
That means that we've almost hit half a year. Okay, in a few weeks, we'll hit
Yeah.
6 months.
It's crazy to think it's gone by quite fast.
Right?
I've had some laughs, some tears. I
Yeah.
don't think there's ever been tears, but yeah.
We used to sing like every 5 minutes. Thank
Yeah.
God we stopped that one.
It's kind of cool to see like the natural progression
Yeah.
of it. It's like we've got the first few episodes of finding our footing, then we found our stride. I think when it got to like Dora or in
The emotionals.
emotionals. There we go.
Yeah, the emotionals banged.
Then it was like which I probably deem the golden era quotation
Mhm.
marks of the reel, and it was like we just came up with bangers.
Oh yeah,
Like
Scooby Doo.
yeah, back to back
Yeah.
slappers. Black Swan, Scooby Doo. Uh, I've gone blank now. The one after that, but it was sick. I remember it being sick.
Fozzie Gump was in there somewhere.
Yeah, that was like just
That
before.
was episode like 5 or something. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And then
Okay.
like we got into it like, you know, we've tried new things along the way in episodes. Yeah, I
Twilight.
think
It was Twilight.
yeah, Twilight was really good.
Yeah.
And then on episode 10 we did our own film, pretty
Yeah.
much completely original. Oh.
If you somehow missed that, don't know what you're doing. Go back. Go listen to episode 10. We've done. That's crazy. It feels like yesterday we did that episode.
Yeah,
Like
it's
all
flown
the,
by.
we've done so many episodes
Yep.
since then. We did James Bond. Then it was Among Us. Then Meet the Robinsons. Then it was the Reillys. Then it was Nanny McPhee. Then it was Mona the Vampire. Then it was Matilda, Sonic Unleashed, and then Mystery Incorporated season 2 was last week. That's crazy.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry, like I was saying, I lost my train of thought there. If you haven't already, go back, give it a listen. It's where because usually on the show we take other people's properties and we twist them and repitch them and just come up with our own polished turds, as it were. But today, and I think is this going to be a tradition, like on every 10th episode, maybe?
It is. I feel. Yeah.
We're gonna try like pitching our own completely original property. So we've got a load of like genres in the randomizers. We've got all the actors in the randomizers as well, and we're just gonna let Jesus take the wheel essentially.
Let the real wheel take the real
Wheel.
wheel.
Let the real wheel take the real wheel.
Should we just
Yee!
jump
That's a
into it?
bar. That's a fucking bar. Whoever came up with that. Oh. Alright, let's do it. Cameron, hit him with it.
Spin that reel.
We got horror.
Oh.
Right,
Oh.
So we have to make a horror movie.
Okay.
Oh, actually, we don't know if it's a movie yet. We have to make a horror thing,
Property. Yeah.
and it's got. What one do you want to do next? Want to do for randomizers or actors?
Do the randomizers first.
Yeah.
Then we'll grab the actors when we need
Yeah.
them.
This is definitely the one it lands on the most.
What is it?
It's CW, that bitch.
Okay.
Do I skip it or do I? Should we stick to it? We'll do like a horror, like a Sabrina-esque show.
Yeah, let's stick to it. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay. I swear to God, this website just gives me the same result.
It's rigged.
Attempt to start a franchise.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. And
Yeah.
then go for one more.
And the final one. Must star Michael Cera.
Fair enough. Very
doable.
classic.
Classic class.
Yep.
If it wasn't for Steve Buscemi, Michael Cera would be the thing. I mean, to be fair, he was there in week 1, in episode 1 as well.
Yeah.
But Steve Buscemi, he hits different, you know?
Yeah.
What a king. Alright, so, we know what we're doing. We know... I've already forgotten what we... Oh, franchise, CW, and...
Sarah.
yeah, Michael Cera. Okay. Yeah, cool. Where
Right
do
then.
we start?
Horror is a very broad
Yeah.
genre, and there's like many different types of horror. And I know what I don't want it to be. Fucking jump scare city,
Yeah.
and it's just like cheesy crap. Now I
It's just
want
like
like
boogity boogity.
full psychological horror type stuff.
Yeah,
That's the kind of horror I'm into.
I mess with that.
Makes you
I was
think, you
I
know.
was gonna suggest maybe we turn it into like an anthology series, like American Horror Story
Yeah, yeah. I
kind
was
of
just
vibes.
thinking there, like, oh, Black Swan was kind of like it. That's
Yeah.
the kind of idea that, first springs to mind.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I think the best aspects of horror are like taking something that seems fairly mundane and making it spooky.
Yeah.
So where do we want to set it? What do we want the characters to be? What do we want them to be saying?
Hmm. What's fairly mundane these days? Hmm.
Mm,
I would like it to be some sort of. Okay, I think I'd like it to be framed one way in the beginning, and the idea I got is it's framed sort of like a Office, Brooklyn 99, that
yeah.
kind of show where
Yeah.
it's a bunch of people. They've all got their certain character types. They all do a certain job or whatever.
Mhm.
But then come like near the end of the first episode, it all goes wrong or
Okay.
whatever.
Like a One Division kind of.
Sort of thing, yeah.
Okay.
And well, it could be, right? I'm thinking they all work on a. Oh, oh. Now you
Cool.
said One Division, it's kind of came into my head. So
You're
I was
cooking there.
thinking, like, it could be they work at a TV station or they're working on the show, right?
Okay.
And then, so the show comes up and it's framed as this, and it's like, welcome home, Joey. I love my wife, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, like, it goes, cut, scene, whatever. Yeah, great work, guys. Actors like hate each other on set or whatever. And then, uh, you know, usual TV setup shtick, if you get me.
Yeah. That real like back and forth kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling to find the horror aspect of this though. Because it'd be like, I don't want them to be, they get locked in the TV station or they actually have to be on the show or something, because that just falls into the trap of cheesy shit. And
Yeah.
I ain't about it. So, well, have you got any ideas?
Um. Nothing particular. I feel like it's always really hard on these ones
Yeah.
because there's not even like anywhere to start.
Yeah, well, as long as we pick up like the grain of the idea, it will come to us.
Yeah. Um.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to my original idea.
Okay.
Forget the TV station stuff. But it's a group of people who work in this certain place. I don't. Oh, I'm trying to think of a job that's like sort of different, and it's like it doesn't fall into sitcom territory, and it doesn't fall into horror territory.
Okay. So it's just like a job.
Yeah, let's say no, no. Yeah. Okay, right. I'll go with it. It's set in a mall, right? And you've got like uh this bigger corporation maybe comes in, this bigger shop. They're like, oh, they just shut down, the M&S or whatever. Oh, now this even bigger corporations come in, and it's a superstore that like sells everything. You've got one of your
Okay.
main characters who owns like a clothes shop, one's got a hardware store, one's got a food shop or whatever, and it's all coming together to go out of business, right, or whatever.
Mhm.
And these, let's say, four characters, they come together and they're like, we need to like do something about this because it's our livelihood. And but now I feel like it's getting more stuck into. I'll still run with it.
Yeah.
The way I'm thinking of it in my head, sorry, is I go with one idea and I start thinking ahead of it, and then I'm like, no, because then it could fall into this. So,
Yeah.
hmm.
It's like
Okay,
a
okay,
really awkward line to walk in it. It's like,
yeah, because you want it to be one way, and it's yeah. I do commend a lot of people who write these just films in general, but horror films especially, to get something that's like really scary and not just like loud noise,
cliched and yeah.
big face on the screen type of thing, you know, because that's hard to think of. So, all right,
I mean, what's scary of an unemployment, you know?
yeah.
Ooh, no stimulus check.
So they ended up going to, I don't know, town hall, and they're like, oh, there's nothing we could do about it. They paid us a big sum.
Okay.
And then so they're all just like, well, let's get together, you know. We'll be well, let's just get together and celebrate. You know, we've had a good run in this town. We're gonna have to close our shops though. So just get together. One thing leads to another in that night, and they're all like, "Oh, why don't we just go down to that mall and like, you know, give them a piece of our mind or whatever, or
Okay.
break in there or some crap?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, let's do it," because they're all drunk or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they end up going there, and it's like, "Oh, the shop's actually 24 hours." And I'm like, "Oh crap! I thought normally this place is shut. Like, oh, we shut at 6. What the hell?" Oh.
Yeah.
So they go in, and they're like greeted by this like overly enthusiastic guy. It's like 10 o'clock at night. He's like, "Hi, welcome to Grand Mart. We've got all your favorite needs." And like, I don't know, the food guy's like, "Oh, back off, Jimmy.
Buster.
Yeah, I don't, it's too late for this crap." And he's like, "Oh, well, if you need any help, please just come to me." And then so they just go around these 4 people, and they're like, what should we do? Let's just cause a ruckus anyway. And so like one goes over to one side, like the sporting section, and they're like, "Oh, can you help me try out these golf clubs or whatever?" And they just keep like swinging the golf balls and hitting, and they like smacking everything, knocking everything over. But like the staff can't do anything about it because they're just all like,
Like drunk and disorderly and like.
no,
Staff.
the staff in the shop, they can't do
Oh.
anything about it because they're like, "Oh, you know, it's our job. We can't really. The customer's always right," type of thing.
Yeah.
And then so they go through it. They're all doing different things. I need to set the scene a bit more. What else could people be doing? The food guy goes to the food section. He's like, "You call this food? This get this crap out of here, this processed crap." And
Yeah.
they're like, "Sir, we reassure you, like we bake it in store today." He's like, "Come down to my shop. I'll cook you under the table any day. What kind of crap do you sell here or whatever?" And then
God,
like
it's a pizza. It's not a fucking pizza.
the clothing woman, she goes over. She's like, "Oh, you know," maybe she's like a little bit older than everyone else, and she's like, "Oh, you know how long I've been working in this place? Like you can't, I like all my stuff's tailor made, and what is this crap? You just ship it off from China or whatever." There's some undertone racism in there maybe.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh no, this is all American made or English made, whatever, wherever we said it." The last person, uh, what shop did they have? I I don't know. They're like a bookshop. They owned a bookshop, and they're like, "Oh, well, maybe they're a bit more sympathetic." And they're like, they're the least drunk out of all of them, and they're just like, "Oh, I'm glad to see like people like you have got jobs, but you know, this is our livelihood." And they're like, we're sorry, man, but there's nothing we can really do about it. Can we interest you in Dame Judy Jentz's novel here or whatever?" And so it's just like that person is just like, "Oh, whatever, I'm out of here. Like, I'll round up everyone else and just go." And they're like, "Oh, by the way, we have a special on main crux of story. Give me an item that is like
Door.
okay. We have a special on home improvement doors, and maybe like in the start of the film, he was like his door was busted or anything or something, and he's like, "Oh, gotta get a new door." Like,
Yeah.
when are you gonna get that door fixed, honey? Yeah, as soon as you stop blabbing on about it.
That's because you're always flapping your gum.
And so he's like, oh, I might as well go check this out. And then it turns out they all end up meeting up
Okay.
by this door, and they're like, oh, what should we do now? You know, I've really pissed off so many people here. And it's like, oh, that one who's like got told about the door is like, you really shouldn't like go too hard on them. You know, like what's it like in your store when you get chastised? And the food guy, maybe you said that, he's like, oh please, nobody ever has anything bad to say about my food. Oh, the shit here, rah, 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 rah. And then so anyway, they're like, oh, well, why are you in the door section? He was like, oh, I actually need to pick up a door here. And they're like, what are you playing at, man? You can't be buying from this place. Like, oh, why don't you come down to my hardware shop? You know I would have given you a good deal. He's like, yeah, but I was here. And it's like, nah, forget it. Forget it. And so one of them ends up storming off. And then, like, an alarm goes off. And you're like, what the hell?
That's take me out. Sorry.
They're like, oh, sorry, everybody. We're gonna have to shut the store. It seems like one of our items have gone missing or whatever.
Okay.
And
So they're like locked down in the store.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Oh, God damn it. So they're all stuck there, and they're like, well, while we're here, we might as well go see who's in charge of this place. So they end up like walking around, like the groups are managed to. It was all kind of rowdy. I mean, there's not many people in there anyway. There's like 15 people at most. That includes all the staff and all the, like our people. So they're they all gather together and they're like, oh, who's in charge here? And then some guy comes like, oh, that would be me. And it's played by the guy who voices Cyril
Oh yeah.
and Jeff.
Yeah.
It's because he's got that kind of friendly kind of tone and kind of
Wait,
nervous tone.
Who's Jeff?
From Rick and Morty. Is it Jeff?
Jerry.
Sorry, yeah.
Jerry. I was like, what?
My bad. Too many J's. Anyway, they're so he's like, oh, please everybody calm down. Like, you know, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just probably some kids stealing again. Like, we just have to take a full stock. And then they're like, well, full stock with the whole shop? Like, what the hell? Like, we've got lives, you know, we want to go home. You're like, yeah, it's common practice. Don't worry. We just need to, like, search you. But besides, like, we've got a nice room back here. There's, like, you know, you can just go chill. It's the staff room, but don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, fine. He's like, just please come through this door. Like, right, all right. They go through. And what happens, guys? You can take it from here.
Oh, son of a bitch! I knew it was coming at some point. Okay. So they're following the guy, and they go back to the room, and they're sat in there for a while, and they're like bouncing off like ideas off each other. You can tell there's like tension. Within, like let's say like so the one who wasn't drinking that much, he's like the rational one, as it were.
Yeah.
Out of everyone, you know. And then there's one of them who like so they've all been maybe like the two of them have been friends.
Yeah.
Him, the rational one, and there's like a really brash one. So maybe the two of them have been friends since like high school. Or something like that. And like the really brash one used to be like the high school superstar.
Yeah.
You know, and but they were friends beforehand, and they just always stayed friends. But the older they got, the more they drifted apart. You know. So the other guy really peaked in high school, and so he kind of takes it out in the world, and he just owns a shitty sandwich shop or whatever it is, like his restaurant. You know. And you see then that the other one, he wasn't all that in high school, but he wasn't like I have no friends, like, you know, like those horrible like stereotypes of like nerds.
Yeah.
Which barely exists in the real world. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna say that it doesn't, because you like it do sometimes.
It's changed though.
Yeah.
Like the the stereotype nerd is definitely different now from the regular nerd? I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Because
I'm not
everybody's
like
kind of a
most
nerd these
nerds.
days.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, carry on.
Um. I'm just setting up just some story between the two of them,
Mhm.
so you can tell if there's like that kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know what direction of horror we want to go in. There was a part of me that was like, maybe they're like an alien thing that have come down, and that's why they're so good. But then I was like, but that's basically the world's end.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe they're like it's just like a weird slasher thing.
Yeah.
You know, like a purge situation
Mhm.
in a thing. But I don't know.
What I'm thinking about is Sonic Unleashed.
Yeah. I almost said werewolf, and I was like, oh, we haven't done werewolf, and I was like, oh yeah, we did Sonic Unleashed. Although technically that's a werehog.
Yeah.
Why is this so
Okay.
hard?
All right, I got it.
Okay.
So they walk into this room,
Hmm.
and it's like they're all, as you said, sorry, they're all bouncing ideas off each other, and it's like, or they're all arguing, kind of like, what are we doing here? We need to get out. Like, but then like the air's kind of changing,
Okay.
and like. I like as things on the table would appear and disappear. Like it's nobody's really noticing it because they just take it off as being drunk. But like the guy who's not really drunk, he's like, oh, there's something weird's happening here. Like things keep going off, and like was that mug always there? And like what mug? What are you talking about? And then like looks back and it's gone. I was like, oh, what? And then like he's oh whatever. Well, I think I just need to go toilet, and he wants to like go wet his face or something.
Hmm.
He's like so he walks out, goes to the bathroom, like washing his hands, like looks down at his hands, looks up at the mirror, and then behind him is like the manager. He's like, oh, so
Okay.
what you looking for work or whatever? He's like, nah, I've got my own store. I mean, I might be soon, but you know, your store might be running us out. He's like, don't worry about that. It's no sweat.
Oh,
It's like, hey, well, you know, I'm sorry about it, but you know, there's always a place here for you at Grandma. And he's like, well, thanks, but I'll probably not take your offer on that. He's like,
okay.
well, we'll eventually take over everywhere, so
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
He was like, what?
And he's
Sorry?
like, huh?
He's like, don't worry. Yeah.
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 It's like, don't worry. So then he like comes out of the bathroom, and like the corridor was like a straight line, but now it's like changed, and it's like a straight line, but it's like dipped now into two. He's like,
Okay.
I could have sworn
Are
like
are we doing like a labyrinth kind of thing?
ish.
Okay.
It's like, oh, I could have sworn it was just like but it was fine because the door that he was in was just right there, and he walks in, and then like the whole room's changed. The whole like the paint's different. The it if it was a film, and I wouldn't want it to be too obvious, but it would be obvious. So like
Yeah.
maybe if it was the scene before he went to the bathroom,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be calling it out, but everything like when the camera cuts, things would change like straight away.
Okay.
So it'd be like, oh, you'd need an eagle-eyed viewer to see that. But now it's like kind of more in your face, but it's still not explicitly said. So like the paint is changed. There was a poster in there that was like, be your best you or something, and now it's like, don't forget to clock out. Good employees clock out or whatever. So I don't know. I'm not
Okay.
great at these posters. And then
That's my one weakness.
yeah, inspirational posters. So they're in the room, and he's like, "What the hell is going on here?" So he's like, "Do you guys want to see if we can get out of here now?" And they're like, "Yeah, we need to walk out of the room," and like goes to go right, solid wall. So and they're like,
Okay.
"You idiot! It's this way. What the hell?"
Yeah.
So then he's like, oh, "What? I'm sure this is where the bathroom was, but whatever." Walks back out there, back into the superstore. it's changed now a bit as well, like the layouts. And they're like, oh, just in time. We have to just check all of you. And they're like, oh, why is that? It's like, oh, because we don't want any of you going back out there and like stealing. We need to. If you want to buy anything, just come buy it. And they're like, oh, we haven't stolen anything, but maybe like two of them did. Like they were joking about, and they're like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we stole this or whatever? And they're like, those two are like looking at each other like, oh god, we're gonna get caught out here. And then but so they start frisking like maybe the older person who owns the clothes store. They're like, "Oh, what's this?" They pull out like a pear. Like, you trying to steal from our fruit and veg section? She's like, "No, I don't know where that came from." And it was like, "Well, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to stay back. Grandma has a zero stealing policy."
Yeah.
And then so they go off and like, oh, the person's like, can you guys wait for me? Like, it probably won't take long. I don't know where this came from. They're like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And then,
and that's the last they saw of Ted.
well, so they take him off. They go off to do that, and they're like, well, did you guys like seriously see them steal that? And they're like, nah, no, stealing what? Nobody stole anything. Come on, what? They're like, guys, did you actually like steal something? I'm like, well, we didn't know that she did it as well, or he did it as well. And they're like, oh, come on, like we can't be doing this. Like we should have just been able to got out of here ages ago. And then they notice the shutters are open anyway, and they're like, oh, I need some fresh air. Like, oh, I don't know why I don't want to be in here anymore. And they're like, oh, are you going outside? They're like, yeah, we just need some air. Like, we're gonna come back in a second anyway. And they're like, haha, well, make sure you take your grandma tote bag with you with all your, they're giving out freebies basically because it's like they've just opened. And they're like, no thanks. And they're like, take it. You need to take it. And they're like, no, we don't. And they're like, no, it's store policy. Take it. Take the fucking bag. And they're like, I think we need to talk to your manager about your conduct. And they're like, what conduct? Well, have a nice day. And they're like, what the hell is going on there?
Yeah.
And then so they're talking. And they're like, that place is like really weird, man. It's something's really off there. And then they're like, go to push the door to go outside. As they do it, you push it, and they've come back through from like the staff room area. They're like, what the fuck? They look back.
Yeah, and they're like, how the hell did...
Yeah. I'm like, what's going on here? And then I'll pass it back over to you.
Okay. Wait, so they're all together, right?
Apart from that one person who's been taken away.
You've been held back.
Yeah. Hair.
Okay, cool. So they're like, what the hell is going on here? And they're like, hey, this is clearly, I must be losing my mind or something. One of them.
Yeah.
And then the other one, the one who like went to the toilet and he's like, no, the same thing happened to me earlier. He's like, I'm sure of it. I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but they clearly don't want us to leave or something like to that. And so they're like, oh, there's got to be a way out of here because maybe they see like a friend from earlier like outside walking around. So they're like, oh, okay, so there's got to be a way we can get out of it. If we split up, we can cover more ground. Blah blah blah. And they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But the one who's more sober is like, no, that's stupid. Like, you never do that. Like, have you never seen Scooby-Doo? Have you never listened to Reinventing the Reels Incorporated episodes? Like you never split up and look for clues. You like we just there's only how many of them are there? There's 3 of them.
Currently, yeah.
Yeah. There's only 3 of us anyway. There's no point in splitting up. We might as well stay. And then the one who's the most drunk and the angry one. Yeah. He's like, hey, no, come on, don't be a dickhead. He's like, I say we do this. I think it makes more sense. And then the other guy is now the tiebreaker, and he's like, I mean, I just want to get out of here at this point.
Yeah.
So reluctantly, the other one the one who's not as drunk. Maybe that's Michael Cera. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, fine, all right, cool, whatever. Yeah, yeah. Oh, so what if the group of friends is Michael Cera, Jonah Hill, McLovin, and someone else? I need someone else. And Pete Davidson.
Fair enough. Yeah. All right.
Nice. All right, cool. So they're the gang of friends. So they split up, and they all go off. They're in their own directions. They're like walking around and whatnot. And so Pete Davidson, who's the one who was on the fence. No, McLovin, who's the one who was on the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense. He's just like walking through the aisles and whatnot, and like as he goes, so maybe okay, so he's walking down the aisles,
Yeah.
and as he is, the camera's on like the other side of like the other end of
Yeah.
the aisles, so it's like you just see like the aisles like going past as he's going past,
Yeah.
and as he keeps walking and walking, like the aisles like they start to change, like the shape of them, until he like stops in front of him and there's just a wall. And he looks up and it's like huge, it's like giant. And he's like, what the hell? And he turns around, there's another wall. And then he looks in front of him. No, he looks to his left and there's a long stretch of corridor. And he looks, and then he goes to turn to his right. And there's just this ghoulish, like, this big, bloated, like, corpse looking thing just stood there. Just, like, looking at him. He's like, I know you guys are really big into, so yeah, maybe it's Halloween as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
Yeah, so there's reasonable, so there are people in like costumes and whatnot anyway. So he's like, yeah, I know you guys are trying to get in the holiday spirit. But
Wait, no, can we change that actually?
No? Yeah.
Not Halloween.
No.
It's just one of the employees, and they're like just really
Yeah.
big and just look disgusting. They're just in the uniform and that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Cool. He's like, hey, maybe. So he's like mutters to himself. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, I'm all good. I don't need any help, but thank you anyway. And he just turns around. He's like, Jesus fucking Christ. And he turns around, and the guy's in exactly the same position, but on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, what the? How? Okay. He just like nods awkwardly and just turns around and goes to leave out the other way, and then he's on the other side again, but he's closer. And he's just like stuck in this giant hallway, and there's nowhere for him to go. And every time he looks away, like it gets closer and closer and closer, and then you just hear, "Oh, Mark, did you see anything?" And he looks up, and like the corridor's gone back to normal or whatever. So maybe it's like whatever these creatures are, they can only pick people off like one by one.
Yeah.
Because then that makes because then they have to stay together because friendship or something. I don't know. And it also makes it more dangerous.
Yeah.
Or, like as each of them get killed off. So he turns around and it's Michael Cera, and he's like, hey, yeah, sorry, I really don't think we should be going around alone, and blah 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 blah. He's like, you okay? And Mark's just like, yeah, I'm good, don't worry about me, sorry. So maybe then, so Jonah Hill's the one who peaked in high school, ironically, and now he's just slogging around. He's like, fucking prick. He's like, why can't he? He can never just take my side. He always thinks he's better than me. He thinks he's smarter than me. He's like picked up a bottle of whiskey off the side, and he's like drinking that as he's going around the shop. And so he's just stumbling around blindly. He's doing his own thing, and then the two who are together go into a room, and they discover, like, they find the big CCTV camera, the big CCTV room. But then, like, on the side, there's, like, a giant whiteboard kind of thing with, like, pins and, like, pictures of them everywhere and that kind of bit, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
Like real surveillance-esque shit, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, what the and there's like bids next to their names and like bets and shit like that. And
Yeah.
like, what is good, you know? And they're like, I don't know, but we need to go and find.
Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy works. I was trying to think of what yeah. Jimmy. So they head off. Like sprinting. They're like running off to go find Jimmy.
Mhm.
And then so it's like a cut. So the camera keeps cutting between the two of their feet, like sprinting, and then Jimmy's feet just like banging into shit and like drunkenly walking.
Yeah.
And then there's a third set of feet that aren't even feet, but they're just like they're moving at such an odd pace. And
Yeah.
and then it just keeps cutting between the three of them. And then it cuts back to Jimmy, and he turns around and he's like, "Oh, what?" He's like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "I thought we said ah." And you don't see whatever it is that's attacked Jimmy.
Yeah.
And then you hear the scream, and the other two guys goes, "Oh, what the hell was that?" And
Yeah.
they turn back around and they run towards Jimmy, because of course they can hear it. So they've been able to like pinpoint where he is ish.
Yeah.
And they get there, and they're like, "Jimmy, are you okay?" And on top of them is their friend, the one who got done for eating the pear.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like got Jimmy's face like in his mouth, and he's like,
What the fuck?
and he turns around and he just like screeches at them. He's
Bloody hell.
and like just leaps up to this like the you know like supermarkets in America have like those giant like pole like the load bearing poles. He just like clambers up that and like disappears into the darkness. And they look up and they just see like other sets of eyes as well.
Jesus.
And then it just goes dark and they're like, what the fuck was that? And they like shake Jimmy. They're like, Jimmy, are you okay? What's going on? Blah 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 blah. Sorry. So just like, yeah, what's going on? And Jimmy's like,
Oh my.
fuck me, I need a shit.
Sure.
He's like, what? He's like, did you see that? He's like, how are you not more shaken up by this? You know, Lex was like sucking on your face or whatever.
Yeah.
Thing, and he was like, oh, you know, Lex is, he's always been a bit of a, you know what I mean? Is Lex?
Yeah.
And then, Cameron.
Hi. Can I help you guys? Are you lost? Are you stuck in it? They're like, oh, for God's sake. Can't be asked to deal with these people. So you're like, look, lady, we're just trying to get out of here. And he's like, oh, you're trying to leave? Oh, why didn't you just say so? Follow me. And they all look at each other like, oh, God, what's the worst that could happen, I guess? And then she just goes, so, did you hear we've got a special on doors? And they're like, yeah, we heard that. Oh, well, you know, it's half off on buy 2 beans, get 1 free. And they're like a singular bean or like a can of beans. They're like, oh, your friend who stole the fruit, that was pretty rough, wasn't it? They're like, yeah, so hopefully any of you guys don't steal. You know what they say, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And they're like, all right, lady, just take us to the fucking doors. Like, come on. Like, you don't need to do this. Like, you could turn it off every once in a while. And they're like, she's like, turn what off? I'm just trying to help you guys, you know. And they're like, nah. And like, maybe like Jimmy's like starting to go off. Like, I'm sick of this crap. I need a shit. I need to get out of here. Like, come on. Like, they're like, whoa, chill out. Yeah. They're like, chill out, bro. It's like, come on. They're like, no, don't give me that crap. And then they just like stop, and she's like turns around and goes, oh no. And he's like, oh, I'm sick of this. Just throw it away, and maybe grabs like a can of beans, throws it on the floor or whatever. Yeah. They're like, Jesus, what? Like, he's like, go on.
So he throws the can on the floor, and like maybe like it goes in slow motion, and like, what are you doing? Why did you pick it up or some shit? And
yeah.
second it hits the floor, like the woman was like, "Oh, like I don't see why like why would I have to change? This is a great store, and everyone's
Yeah.
like
Jesus.
the second that the beans hit the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, can the store manager be played by Beans?
The like top manager.
Yeah, I fuck with Beans. What happened to my boy Beans? Justice for Beans.
So they all saw that. I'm like, oh my god. They
Yeah.
just like turn around and start running. She's like fully booking for him.
Yeah,
And then
on all
like
fours, just
yeah, they like come out the end of an aisle, and then there's like someone else standing there and like, oh, you guys lost? Do you need help with anything? They're like, back off, they said, or whatever. And they
want to
just
Sprite
like
cranberry.
they just like push him to the side. They still keep running. I think they're just like they're running and running. They're like, there's no end to this running. Like, what the hell? So like they just stop and they're like, well, what are we gonna do? And then one of them goes, to the sporting section. We need to like gear up and go get some crap to like knock them out or whatever. And then the like guy came down for like getting the other guy with the parry. He's like, oh, I see you guys have met Angela and Joseph over there. They're some of our great staff members. Do you mind giving us a review, by the way, for your store experience today? And they're like, what do you mean our store experience? It's been nothing but hell. Like, oh.
No.
And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. If you guys wanted to leave, you could have just done so. And they're like, we tried to leave. We tried to go outside, and we just came back through the place. And he's like, oh, well, you didn't try the doors, did you? And then they're like, we did try the fucking doors. Like, what are you on about? And then they're like, no. Didn't you hear we have a special on doors? And they all look at each other and they're like, for fuck's sake. Like, so they go over to the door section. Like, they're just following this guy. Like, the two employees that change are like scampering behind them, like still in that form. They're like, it's like, oh, they're just sick of this shit now and they just want to get out. So they do anything. And they're like, yeah, just go through one of these doors and everything will be fine. You can leave. And they all look at each other, and then Jimmy's like, oh, screw it, I'm going. He opens the door, and it's like a real Monsters Inc. situation. Like, he opens it, and it's just like a
doors.
completely different room. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, he looks through, and he's like, oh, that's my shop. It's like just the front of his shop, basically. And he's like, oh, I've got the keys, I can go in there, take a shit, it's fine. And they're like, oh, you sure you want to go through this door? Like, you never know where it could lead. Like, it might look like your shop. He's like, no, it's fine. So he's like, you guys, I'll go in, check everything. And Michael Cera's character's like, no, we said we'd stay together. And he's like, no, shut up, I got this. I need a shit anyway, like, I'll just stink up you guys. So he goes off, shuts the door behind him. The manager guy just turns and looks at him and smiles. He's like walking through, he's like, fucking hell, like scrambling for his keys to open the shop. He's like, oh, what the hell? Unlocks the door and it gets in, sits down on the toilet, and everything's fine. It's like, everything seems fine. He's just finishes his shit, washes his hands, closes up his shop, and he's like, I don't know what any of those guys were worried about. But then, like, looks, he's like, of course there'd be no door. Like, can't go back through because, yeah. And he's like, well, should I just ditch these guys or what? And then, like, he turns around. He's like, I should probably give him a call. Looks at his shop store, and it's like, Jimmy's Sandwiches, a subsidiary of Grandma or whatever. And he's like, they took me over? What? But then, and he's like, he just starts sprinting back to the shop. And then they were like, oh, where did he go? Like, he should have been back by now. Like,
yeah.
And then all you hear is like, you fucking assholes, I want to speak to your manager. What? And then he's like stomping through, and then he's like, oh, he's back. So, Jimmy, how was your experience at one of our subsidiary stores? And he's like, what are you talking about? That's my shop. He's like, nah. Going through that door, you signed the contract. It's still done now. It's ours. He's like, well, but I didn't sign no contract. I just wanted to get out of here. He's like, you left? And in doing so, you signed away your life to us. That's it. It's like, oh, I'm not taking any of this crap. Oh, dialogue.
Rabble.
And they're like, oh, what did you do to him? Like, go to, wow, why is going through the door? Would that change like the shop? It's like, well, that's why we wanted you here. Like, you're all leaving anyway. Like, and as I said, there's always a place for you here. It's like, take your friend over there. He's already joined up, and he's like on track to becoming one of our top employees. He's gonna go around the globe and span Grandma to everywhere, and then everyone will have Grandma in their home, in their neighborhoods, and everything. And they're like, Jesus, this is like creepy. And there's monsters and there's takeover, and you're gonna have to take over as well, Curtis, because I'm starting to lose myself.
I feel like this is a very James Bond one.
Yeah.
Like there are just elements that are.
It's quite hard.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. All right, let's try bring this sucker home. Okay, so I mean, what's scarier than having no control over your future?
Yeah.
Feeling like you don't, and that's where the horror comes from. But also maybe there's monsters in there as well. Who knows? I don't know. It's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
No, I've got it.
Okay.
I've got it. So, like, maybe they all start seeing weird shit as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Etc. Etc.
Yeah.
But what's actually happened is after they went out drinking, and they were like, "Yeah, let's go show them what was what."
Yeah.
They got in a car crash,
Oh, bye.
and this is them like fighting for their lives, like in purgatory kind of vibe.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is why there's like monsters and
Yeah.
fear, like the guys seeing his shop like up for sale or whatever, because like maybe in the hospital they're talking to his wife and they're like, oh, you know, you if you want to sell it to us, we'll buy it off you, and blah blah blah. But you know, so he's hearing that in his sleep and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then only one of them wakes up, and it's Michael Cera.
Okay. Yeah.
Of course, I've skipped some bits and bobs like
Yeah.
and stuff. But so it's Michael Cera. He's the only one who wakes up, and he's like he's a changed man. You know, he's very like shell shocked by it all because like duh.
Yeah.
And he goes to he like drives past his old friend's shop and all that, and it's being turned into a chain place again.
Yeah.
Again, he was like, oh, that's odd, you know, but you know, 'tis the way. And then he's like he's about to head home, and his wife's he gets a text from his wife. She's like, oh hey, can you make sure you get me some, don't forget to pick up something before dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, of course, yeah. And so he goes into a shop, like the shop. It's just like a corner store or whatever. And he's like to the guy at the account. He's like, oh hey, have you guys got this? And the guy just like points in that direction. He's like, all right, cool. Thanks for your help. And he walks over and he opens the fridge. He picks up the milk, and he turns around, and it's his friend Jimmy.
Oh.
Like just at the end of a corridor. No, not at the end of the corridor. It's his friend Jimmy, just like in the same uniform.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hello there today, sir. How can we help you?"
Ta-dum.
And it ends. Why did you even Netflix?
I don't know.
And it ends. Maybe it's stuck in purgatory still. Who knows?
Who knows?
The only thing that matters is we made it out.
Yeah.
Oh.
God damn.
Oh, sweet baby Jane.
Yo, you can't hear all of them.
You miss 100% of the shots
Yep.
you don't take.
Good night,
So,
everybody.
Yeah,
No.
I've been Cameron.
What? And I've been Curtis.
I just wouldn't see the confusion on your face. You're like, oh, what the fuck's happened? Am I stuck in time?
Am I stuck in time?
Yeah. Alright, see you later, bud.
See you next week.
Oh, it's the second week in a row I fucked up the bloody outro.